Hello and welcome to episode 124 of Daryl Show Your Work. All right, so if you recall in my previous video, I used NetCat during that video. So I decided to dedicate this next video here to it, to exactly that, to the NetCat application. All right, so I'm going to be going through some just some fundamental things that we can do with it. Don't believe I will be doing anything in terms of exploitation where I would need to give a disclaimer. All right, but this is certainly some of the things that I do can actually help when conducting exploitation activities. All right, so to just give a high level definition again of what NetCat is, I believe I've covered it a little bit some previous videos, but never really dove deeper into it outside of just using it for whatever I need to use it for in that particular video. But NetCat is also known as the TCP/IP, a Swiss Army knife, which because it could do such a variety of different tasks for pen testers or or malicious attackers alike. But it's a network utility and is used to read and write data to network connections using either TCP or UDP. So some of the things that it can actually perform, as we've seen in some of our previous videos, we can actually use it as a listener similar to multi-handler within the Metasploit framework to listen for incoming connections from target hosts. All right, but it also can be used for banner grabbing, port scanning, file transfers, and also for bind and reverse shells against target hosts. All right, so I'm going to be showing that a few of those functions here in this video today. All right, so I've already done some pre-recording discovery here, and I've gotten our target host's IP address. So today they live at 10.3.31.241. All right, so I'm just going to copy this here because I'm going to definitely need it at some point in this video. All right, so let's get that copied, and it looks like my machine is running rather slow today. All right, but no worries. All right, so the first thing I want to show is just how we could see the variety of different options that we could use with NetCat on the command line. So I'm gonna say lowercase nc in Linux. That's how you start up NetCat. All right, and then I'm gonna say help, and this will bring me to the help menu, and it didn't like that. All right, let's see. Maybe it is. Maybe I got that wrong. And there we go. It's just one dash. Okay. So this the different type of options or switches we could use on the command line for doing a variety of tasks within um, NetCat. So let's say the first thing I wanted to show is some different varieties of port scanning we could do. Some different things on the command line we could do as far as trying to conduct port scanning against a target host. So let's say that I wanted to do, let's say I would type nc and I'm gonna do nc dash n. All right. So what n does, if we look here, all right, it says numeric only IP addresses, no DNS. So that disables and ignores the DNS naming resolution. All right, so that's what I'm doing when I type in. All right, and so let's say I could do dash V, which is going to output some sort of information about the target. All right, and so we can see that here with this switch right here. And it also lets us know that if we type in V more than once, it's going to give us even more information about the target. All right, so I'm telling it to, hey, to give it to ignore DNS resolution and then to provide me some sort of information about my target host. All right, and then I'm gonna paste in here my IP address. All right, so there's two ways we could do this. You can either do separate dashes, which you see that I've done here. I said dash n dash v. All right, to do the variety of functions you want to do in one scan, or we can combine them. Oops, hold on, I didn't mean to do that. All right, we can combine those two together. All right, and it'll do the same thing as if we had them separated. So it just may save you a little bit of time just to put them all together instead of having to dash letter space dash letter space and just put all the letters together. So that's why when you see me open up that NetCat listener in previous videos, we've seen that the NVLP. So what I'm doing there, I'm saying ignore DNS resolution N, and then I'm putting V next to it to, hey, give me back some system information about our target. L, meaning go into listener mode, and then P, when I put P, I'm telling it to, hey, to this is a specific port that I'm asked you to connect to. All right, so that's what's going on when I put NVLP, and I could very easily just say N dash V dash L dash P, but I'm just putting it all together. So you have different syntax options when using the NetCat tool here. All right. So the reason I accidentally pressed enter, the reason why that fails is because I didn't specify the port. So I actually can also specify the port here at the end of the command, which I'm going to aim for port 80. So this is basically going to scan port 80 of our target host and let me know this if anything is if that port is if that port is open, closed, or whatever the status is. This is what I want to know. This is a port scan with a NetCat. So let's hit enter for that. All right, so it's let me know that the HTTP port is open. That port 80 is open and is indeed running the HTTP protocol open on it. Excuse me. I'm not sure. See, I have to do a control C to get out of that. All right. So let's see if I want to know the same thing. Let's say for port 21 for FTP. If I want to know that if this host is running has an open FTP port open. All right, so a connection refused. So just because a connection refused, don't mistake that for that being that the connection is closed or that port is closed. It could very well be filtered or behind some type of firewall. So you probably would maybe need to use another tool like an Nmap just to further do some further analysis to see, hey, what's going on with this port? Is it truly closed or is it behind some sort of filtering mechanism? Again, like a firewall. Okay, so excuse me, I could do the same thing for port 22 for SSH to see if that's open. So we know it's not open, but we don't know whether it's closed or filtered. All right, so that's just another example of that. So in these examples I specifically used I did some scanning of those TCP ports. All right, so let's say we wanted to do scanning of some UDP ports. All right, so if I simply, let's say I want to scan UDP port 139, okay, which is associated with SMB. All right. Now, if I just leave it like that and hit enter, all right, it tells me actually that it is open. Okay. So let me try the same. Let me try something different here. Let's see. Let's get out of that. Let's try. Let's try 145. All right. So it gave me a question mark here. All right. So let me see if anything different happens if I were to add a U here. Okay. So you would have to add a U here if you wanted to specify it to run to basically run a UDP port scan instead of the the TCP port scan that it does by default. So I'm gonna hit enter. Okay, so now we can see that it's open. All right, so before it was coming back telling me that at that port was that the connection was refused, but when I added that U option there to specify conduct a UDP port, then we were actually able to see that port 145 is indeed open. All right, and then let's see, I'm gonna do another one here. Um, let's do port 445. All right, SMB. All right, see, we can see that's open. And then I'm gonna do one more here. Let's do 161. All right, so we can see the simple network management protocol. We can see that that port is open. All right, so hit the Control C to exit out of that. All right, so let's say we wanted to go through setting up a listener. All right, as a server. So um, so the thing with this is that we're going to need to transfer a copy of the NetCat executable file to the Windows system. So we see here that I have two systems. I have a attacker machine, which is Linux based, and then our target machine is Windows based. We can see that is running some variation of Windows Server. Let's see if I could come here. Doesn't really say, but more than likely it's 2012. All right, so going back to the desktop here. So what I'm gonna need to do in order for me to be able to establish a connection with this machine has to also have a NetCat on it as well. So I have to first transfer um, um, the um, the NetCat exe file over to this target in order for us to establish a connection here, similar to what I did in the other previous video. All right, so to get that started, first I'm going to need to go back to the attacker machine, and I'm going to switch the directory that the NetCat exe file is located here. So I'm going to switch directories. All right, and similar to the last video, I'm going to have to host a simple this directory as a simple web server host that in order for our target machine to find it and download that file into its local directory. All right, so I'm gonna say user share windows dash binaries. All right, and then that's going to put me into that directory. All right, so let's do a list here, see what's in there. So this is the file that I'm looking to um, to download into our target Windows machine. All right. So in order for again for it to find and see this, I have to host it I have to host it from my HTTP port as a simple web server, and then the Windows machine is going to find that and download it. All right. So I'm going to begin hosting that by I'm doing using a Python command to do that. I'm going to say Python -m simple HTTP server. All right, I want to use port 80 to host that. All right, so it's let me know that I'm hosting it. So jumping over to the target machine here, I'm going to use there's two different ways I could do this. I could either put in the IP address of the attacker machine and go through that way of downloading the file from there, or I could do it conducted from the command line, which I'm going to actually do. So clicking on the start button here, and then let's search for the command prompt. So type CMD. Let's open that up. All right, so now that I'm in here, let's hold on. I'm gonna jump back because before I could do that, I actually have to know what my IP address is. So I'm gonna open up another terminal here, and let's do an ifconfig. All right, so since I am operating on interface Ethernet 1, all right, under iNet right here is my IP address, which is 10.10.48.4. So let me copy that, and I'm gonna put it in mousepad here. Let's say my IP address, okay. Then we're going to paste that right in there. All right. So 10.10.4.8, I should be able to copy and paste between machines here. We're going to see. All right. So, all right. So now that we know what that is, so as we see in the previous videos, and let me let me change some stuff here so we can clearly see, and I'm gonna try to maximize that as much as possible. Go to properties. Let's change the font on this so we can everybody can see what's going on. There we go. All right. Then we're gonna bring that to 20. Okay. All right. Then let's see. Can I expand this a little bit? It don't look like it's moving any further. That's fine. Okay, that should be good enough. Okay, so as I've done in previous video, in order to download this file from the command line, I'm going to be using a Windows utility known as certutil, which again is used to download things from the command prompt within Windows. All right, so in order to do that, I'm going to say certutil. All right, dash, and then say URL cache dash F. All right, and then let's say HTTP. I'm gonna have to specify where this is being hosted, colon slash slash, and then let's paste. Let's see if I could paste my IP address. Yeah, I can. Great. All right. So I'm gonna say slash, and then the file that we're looking for on and within that address that's being hosted here is we're looking for the file nc.exe. All right, then I need to tell it once it downloads that to over to this. Then I want it to retain that name, which is nc.exe. All right, so just checking my syntax here, making sure everything is okay. So what it's going to do is it should download that to my desktop here once I hit enter. All right, so let's do that. All right, let's see, cache command. Okay, I don't see any difference here. You know why? Because I didn't change. I should have changed to my desktop. Hold on. So it went somewhere. Just not sure where it went. So let's change to my desktop here, and we're gonna make sure that that comes into my desktop when I run that again. Let's run that again. Bingo. All right. So that's on my desktop right here. So all the way on the left where my mouse is, we can see nc.exe. Okay. So the next thing is now that I have that on my desktop, I could verify that I can interact with it too. So um, to verify that I can actually use NetCat on this machine, I'm gonna say nc.exe. So I have to put .exe here on the Windows side, and then I'm gonna use the same command, but this time I'm gonna say -h instead of all right in dash help, spelling that all the way out. All right, so that proves that now that I can access that help menu, that proves that now that I can actually use NetCat on this machine. So I'm going to jump back over to the attack machine and go back to my first terminal, and we can see those git commands here. All right, so git is what happens when we have someone looking to download from our side. All right, and then the opposite would either be put or post, where we then upload to the other side. All right, just for those that may not be aware of what's going on here. So I'm doing Control C. All right, so now that we've terminated our web server, now I want to show exactly some cool things we could do with the listener. All right, so we could kind of create our own chat session here, and by doing that, I'm gonna say nc dash, remember, n dash n for no DNS resolution, v for verbose, L for listening mode, and P to specify the port that we want to open this connection on, and I'm going to choose port 1234. All right. All right, so it's listening. So going back to the target machine here. All right, so what I need to do on this side is similar, but put it in the Windows syntax here. So that's nc.exe, and then I'm gonna say -n for since we're not going to put in listener mode, but we still want to say no DNS resolution. We want to say verbose, and since we want to make the connection on this side, so we're saying hey to connect to, and I'm gonna give it. All right, I'm gonna give it the IP address of the attacker machine. All right, and then we want to connect to port 1234. All right. So again, we're leaving the L and the P off because again, we're not listening. We're trying to make the connection. And P, I'm leaving that off, and I'm just going to specify the port here at the end of the command. All right. So I'm gonna hit enter. All right. So it looks like we have an open connection here. All right. So let's say I go back to the attacker machine. All right, we can see we have the connection here. It says connect to my machine from, and then we have the attacker machine here, and to show those two IP addresses are aligned. All right, so if I type in hello on my end and hit enter, let's see what's going on in the target machine. We can see hello on this side. All right, so again, we kind of have like a little messenger session going on here. All right, so if I say NetCat is the best. All right, and then go to the attack machine. We can see we received that message on this side. All right, so that shows how we can set that up going from Linux to Windows. All right, I also wanted to show how we can do the opposite and show that where we could also set that listener up on Windows. It goes both ways. We could actually set it up on Windows and do that same communication by connecting from Linux. All right, and I just wanted to show how versatile NetCat is, and how it's not just dependent on it's not it's a one-way thing where you have to do one thing on one platform and you can only do the other thing on another platform. I wanted to show how we could do this both ways. All right. All right, so just terminating my listener here, and we should see here where it says where we're back here and we're out of that. So terminate the session here. All right, so the next thing I want to do is, or I want to be able to set up that listener here. So in order to do that, on this side, I'm going to say NC, and I'm going to say I had to put exe since I'm on the Windows side, and then now I'm going to put the whole NVLP. All right, and then I'm going to use the same port here, 124, 1234. All right, so I'm going to hit enter there to start the listener. All right, let's jump back to the attacker or the Linux machine. Just waiting for my machine to catch up with me. All right, and on this side, I'm going to tell it NC. Sorry about that. My machine is kind of has a mind of its own today. Let's move this out the way. Come on, you can do it. Just trying to slide this on out the way so it's not in the way. There we go. All right, come on. All right, that a boy. All right. Okay, so now that that's out the way, um, now let's do the NC. So I'm still waiting on my machine to catch up with me. I don't know why all of a sudden it just decided to freeze up on me. There we go. Okay, so now I'm gonna say NC dash NV. All right, and then now I have to give it the attacker's, not excuse me, the target host's address. So let's recopy this. All right, just waiting. Waiting for, there we go. Okay, hold on. Let me. There we go. All right, there we go. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna copy this over here, and I'm gonna give it the target host's address. So I'm gonna paste that there. All right, and then I have to specify the port here that we want to connect to. So that's 1234. All right, so let's make that connection. All right, so it's open. So all right, so let's start the conversation this time as the Linux machine. So I'm gonna say hello, I'm back. All right, let's check the target machine over here. Oh boy. Go away. Sorry about this, folks. Just having some technical difficulties right now. My recording software just kind of has a mind of its own. All right. Stay right there. Okay. And it still follows me. Okay, let me see if I could just get rid of this. Okay, that should do it. All right. Now that we're back, we can see that message I'm back. It has been here. All right, and then let's write something back here. And let's see our attacker machine get that on the Linux side. All right, and it did. All right, so that's how we can just show an example of how we can establish a connection going from either Linux to Windows or Windows to Linux. It's not just one way. And another way, let's say we wanted to start a a listener on a UDP port. We could also do that. First, I need to terminate this session here. All right, so the way we could do that here is simply just do um, NC and then use the same set of options in VLP. All right, and then except this time, actually, you would have to put U. You had to make sure you put U after the L. All right, because that's where you're putting all of your different options, and P is just specifying the actual port. All right, and then I'm gonna specify what port I want to open this listener up on. And then I would just have to do the same thing here on the target machine to get that going. All right, so I would just say nc.exe. All right, waiting for things to catch up on this end. There we go. All right, and then you will put dash NV and then U. All right, and then we're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4. It says no port to connect to, which is really weird. Not sure why that's not working, but I mean that's how you would use it. So if we want to use a specific UDP port, that's the command that you would use. Not sure why it's not working in this scenario, but it should be. All right, so I'm gonna just come out of that. All right, and then the next thing I want to show is how we can transfer files between between the different machines using NetCat, how we conduct file transfer. All right, so to get that going, all right, I'm going to create a test file here, and I'm just going to say use the text editor to create that, and we're just going to call this test.txt. All right, so I should enter into the text editor here, and I'm just going to write in a simple message. Hello, this was sent using NetCat. All right, so I'm gonna do a Control X to exit, and then a Y to save it. All right, and enter to get out. All right, so again, this I'm gonna set up a listener on my target machine here because ultimately we want to be able to transfer this file over to here. And we were doing it. I know we just did something similar with NetUtil, but I want to show how we can do this completely with NetCat and not with extra utility, extra tool like NetUtil. All right, so on this side, I'm gonna say nc.exe. All right, and then I'm gonna say the usual nvlp. Oh, let's get rid of this extra set of exes over here. All right, and then we want to give a greater than or less than sign based upon well, we'll call it a redirect sign based upon what direction we want to go. So since hold on, there we go. So since we're the receiving, we're going to put a greater than sign. Hold on, let me see. This thing is there's a delay in my input here. Sorry about that. So we're going to put a greater than sign since it's the receiving end, and we want to tell it when it receives whatever file that it gets from this listening session. Move that back a little bit. There we go. We want you to name this test.txt. TXT. All right. Okay. So setting up the listener there requires a P argument. Did I leave out a P? I'd have a P argument there. Let's see. Let's see. No, that should be sufficient. Let me see. To use redirect. Let me see. No, that should. What didn't it like here? Ah, okay, I see what I did wrong. Okay, I left out the port, so I have to tell it the port to connect to. All right, so let's change that up here. And so after where I have the P, right? Let's totally did leave that out. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so let's get that going. All right, now it's listening. All right, so let's try to now we're going to try to send that test file over to our neighbors over here at the target IP. All right, so in order to do that on this side, on the Linux side, I'm gonna say nc dash NV. All right, and then I want to specify the target. Can't remember the last thing. I think I do still have this in the memory. Let's make sure I do. Let's see. Gonna paste that from the clipboard. Yep. Okay. So all right. So I'm gonna say I want to send this to our target IP here, and then again using port 1234. All right. And then since we are the sender, then I'm going to use the less than sign. All right, and then I'm going to specify that I want to send the file test.txt. There we go. All right, just waiting for it to catch up. There we go. All right, so sending that. All right, so we should be seeing that on the desktop of our target, and we do. All right, so even though we see that the connection was made, we don't necessarily see anything as far as um, um, the file being successfully sent from the command line. But if we look here on my desktop, we definitely see that test.txt file was successfully sent, and it's here on my desktop, and you can see that this is indeed the same file. When I open it up, we can see the message that I typed in. All right, so I mean, even though in this example I sent just a TXT file, same as I did with using doing that simple HTTP server insert util, we can also send exe files that way. So if we're thinking about and thinking in terms of compromising a host or exploiting a host, know that exe file can be sent in the same manner from the command line from a NetCat session between two different machines, or like I said, it can also be sent via somebody the um, going to the actual site that's being hosted and then pulling it down from there. All right, so that's a NetCat listener. Just a few things we could do with it here. So just to give a high level overview of what I've done, I've shown some ways that we can conduct both TCP and UDP scanning, shows port scanning, shows some ways that we can play around with the listener. An example that I gave, using it kind of as like a messenger type of app, but just showing how how the two-way connection works. How you could set up Linux to Windows, or Windows to Linux, and then showing how we can conduct a file transfer between the two by specifying the redirect options on the command line, and specifying what we want to name the file once we send it over. So please like, subscribe, and share. Most importantly, show your work. Until next time, take care of yourself, and God bless.